Minnesota's kind of known as the state of hockey. Everybody seemed to play when I was a kid. The ponds would freeze, we'd go play out there, and then the lakes would freeze, we'd move to the lakes. I was out there some days from 8 in the morning until like 4 or 5 at night. I didn't know anything about hockey culture in Los Angeles prior to getting here. I don't think I ever met any players from California. You kind of expected the California kid to be more into surfing, or I just didn't see many of them. The moment when Gretzky was traded really changed how people perceive ice hockey in general in California.
The very first game I played in LA was on a Saturday night exhibition game. We had 9,000 people there. We were playing the Winnipeg Jets. And I remember in the warm-up thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of work. Because in Edmonton, we sold out every game and season tickets. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into?
But after Gretzky arrived more than 30 years ago, hockey in Southern California exploded in popularity. From the birth of the Ducks in Anaheim to their Stanley Cup title in 2007 and the Kings titles in 2012 and 2014, ice hockey continues to attract fans of all ages.
To have the new facility in Irvine is a game changer. Walk through the building and you have an academy. You have the junior Ducks teams, Lady Ducks teams. You have the in-house program. You go through and you watch the learn to skate, and you can hardly see the ice. There's so many kids out there that are wanting to get into the game.
Just look around, the place is incredible. We have one of the world-class facilities in our backyard right here. We're able to be outside pretty much every single day of the year with an amazing temperature. And so to be able to be outside training all the time is a big advantage for these guys.
Who here, raise your hands, has ever played hockey before? Who's played hockey before? Look at that. That's fantastic. Of course, here in Southern California, we don't have a pond in the backyard where we can go out in the frozen pond and skate, but we don't need to have that, right? There are other opportunities and avenues that we can expose kids to the game of hockey. It doesn't have to be on ice.
Well, I can remember watching the kids when I first came out here, and a lot of them had a tough time getting around the ice. But now they've built some beautiful facilities around here, and the coaches have come a long way. A lot of guys that played on the Kings now have retired and now are coaching some of the teams.
There was a time when we were playing the Junior Kings, and on our bench was Scott Niedermeyer and myself and Brian Sotheby. And on the Kings bench was Rob Blake, Nelson Emerson, and Pat Brisson. So it was kind of neat that these great hockey people wanted to be involved in the sport and were teaching these kids.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
When we first went to Minnesota, or when we went to Toronto, and people would look at us and they go, oh, well, we got a California team. It'll be an easy one. And then our kids would go out there and they'd beat them and they'd go, well, where are you guys from?
Every year I played at Lady Ducks. We made nationals. It's kind of a special niche here in California, and it gives us a lot of bragging rights, seeing how well our program does on the East Coast.
There's more and more kids from the state have an opportunity to go play college and pro hockey, and for the most part, the AAA teams are able to move on and compete with the teams in the stronger parts of the country. It's been really good.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And this year, to have Ryan Johnson, who was my son, and then Cam York, both be drafted in the first round. I think Cam was the highest Californian ever taken in the draft, which is quite the accomplishment for him.
With state-of-the-art training facilities, along with some of the best coaches in the world, it's clear to see hockey in Southern California is here to stay.
So now when I pick up a paper and I'll see on a Friday night that the Ducks have 17,000 people, and I read the same paper and the Kings are at 18,000 people, we have 35, 36,000 people on the same night going to an NHL hockey game, I go, wow, this is pretty good.